Howdy, y'all. I'm Adam, the Renaissance Nerd. It's a slow day. Not much for me to talk about, at least that I'm really interested in this pop culture war that we continue to fight. It would be a stretch, and I've promised you since the beginning I'm only going to talk about things I'm interested in because so many of you like the fact that I talk with a passion about all the subject matter that I cover. So if I'm not interested in it, then there's going to be no passion. Therefore, why even try? It does you a disservice. It does me a disservice. So today, instead of trying to reach for something, I'm going to talk about an idea that's been floating around in this head of mine. I'm going to talk about starter anime. Starter anime. But before we keep going, I know I promised at some point I would do a follow-up review on the summer 2021 anime that I listed that I'll be watching. That's not going to happen because I found most of it boring. I threw out at least 3 shows right away. They were just bad. And I am just going to focus on, when we talk about anime in the here and now, I'm just going to focus on things that are really, really interesting and fun, like a Demon Slayer Season 2 coming up. That I will talk about as it happens. But as far as anime goes, I mean, I'm either going to talk about series at large or like this starter anime. How to start with anime. I watch so many channels right now in the sphere that we all encompass, that we all live in, we all run around in. So many of our favorite YouTubers are constantly saying they're starting anime, they're into anime, they're getting this and that, and then they get flooded with suggestions. And so many of the suggestions, while many good, and many I disagree with, and many I think are overrated, but that's opinion, that's taste, and that's the beauty of anime. There's so many genres on top of genres within genres that there's so much to choose from. But the important thing is, you need to, somebody who's getting into anime, you want to start them off on the right foot. You don't want to give them something that's too overwhelming. You don't want to start somebody on One Piece. That's insane. It's overwhelming. You want to start somebody on something that's 12 to 26 episodes, be it an OAV, original animated video, or just a straight shot 26 episode series. That is my opinion on that. You want to start that way. So today I'm going to give you a list of some good starter anime that I love connected to certain genres. Now, again, I've been watching anime for well over 30 years now, and especially in the past 6, 7 years, I've really been watching a lot of anime. When I got back from China in 2016 and I was laid up being ill and injured, I watched so much anime found a bunch of free streaming services, and I just watched the hell out of everything, expanded my own horizons, discovered I liked a lot more than my basic fantasy and sci-fi that I'd only stuck to for so many years. But I discovered there are great starter anime out there, and this is the best way to do it. You want to get started, start small, then dive into something big. Then go into something that's maybe 50, 60, 70 episodes, and then work your way into the really big stuff. And especially because a lot of things these days are still ongoing. Great shows like Overlord, My Hero Academia, Konosuba, even Sword Art Online. They're still ongoing. There are still chapters, stories to tell. You want to start small. Find out what your genre is. Not everybody likes the same stuff, which is why I'm going to give you a good examples of different genres that I find entertaining. All right, where am I going to start? I'm going to start with my tried and true first love, fantasy anime. Fantasy. We're talking swords, sorcery, monsters, dragons, humans, elves, dwarves, monsters, demons, devils, all that kind of fun stuff. You probably know where I'm going to go with this. If you want a good starter fantasy anime, you cannot go wrong with Record of Lodoss War, OAV. Not Chronicles of the Heroic Knight, the TV one. You want to go the OAV, in my opinion, the adventures of Parn and Diedlit and their crew in fighting to keep Cardis from being reborn, fighting to stop Carla the Grey Witch from maintaining her from the Shadows' control over the island of Lodoss. That is where you want to start. Again, I hinted a lot of stuff there. Lodoss, the island of fire, broke off from the continent of Alakrast after the War of the Gods ended. Cardis sleeps beneath Lodoss, waiting to be resurrected. Carla, the Grey Witch, from the Magic Kingdom, of the name I can't remember right now, but she silently governs it, controlling everything like a master puppeteer, constantly keeping the entire island at war, never letting anybody get too strong. It is your classic, beautiful fantasy story. Heroes, love, adventure, highs, lows. There are stakes. People die. You want to get good. You want to get a good anime. Get started with good fantasy anime. You go with Record of Lodoss OAV. It's 12 episodes. Very easy to get. The sub is better than the dub. This is back when dubs were truly horrific. So if you're going to watch it, go with subtitles. It's a much better experience. Next on my list, we're going to go with some sci-fi. Now, remember, before I keep going, remember, there will be a lot of things you might think I would suggest, but I'm suggesting self-contained stories that have a beginning and end, and even though you might want them to keep going, they do stop. A great starter sci-fi show, Outlaw Star. 26 episodes? I believe it's 26. Yeah, 26 episodes. The story of Gene Starwind, kind of a bit of a man about town, kind of a rogue, has dreams of being a pirate, a space pirate. Him and his partner Jim get dropped at their feet, the android Melfina, who is the key to the galactic ley line, the source of all knowledge in the galaxy. With Melfina in tow, they discover the ship, the Outlaw Star, one of the other keys to reaching the galactic ley line. Hunted by pirates, hunted by galactic powers, Gene, Jim, Melfina, and their motley crew race across the galaxy in search of the galactic ley line. You can't get better than Outlaw Star when it just comes to nice, solid, straightforward sci-fi goodness. Space battles, on-the-ground battles, little mix of a little bit of mysticism in there, which is why it's also very cool. The mysticism of the Tao Alchemist and stuff like that. It's just a really cool show. A lot of fun. Animation is solid. The dub is actually very good, so I recommend watching it with the dub. It works really well. 26 episodes. It's a good time. Love, adventure, a hero. Gene Starwind is a hero you can get behind because he's not a perfect hero. He's not a perfect man. He's a bit of a fuck up, but he gets the job done and he has the good heart. And it's great. So Outlaw Star, start with that if you want a good solid sci-fi show. Get your lips wet on that. What's next? This one is a bit of a mix of sci-fi fantasy. That's why I'm a little bit of a hybrid genre. Scried. It's a little out there, but it's really good. Another 26 episode series. The dub is great. I do recommend watching this with the dub as well. It takes place in an alternate reality Japan where geological activity has caused a dimensional rift to kind of happen over Japan. And it created an area where you have people who are called alters. And alters have the ability to alter matter to their mind. They create anything not anything. They create, their subconscious mind creates abilities, either armor or creatures or powers, abilities. It's really out there. It follows the story of Kazuma, who is a native alter, is being hunted by Holy, which is a military outlet of the government called Hold, which kind of controls the whole area. Being hunted by Ryuho, who's the number one hunter in Holy. Alter users, native alters are supposed to be subdued and controlled because they're too chaotic, cause too much damage. Well, this is a great story because it's a story of corruption, a story of promise, a story of one of these great stories that family doesn't necessarily mean blood ties, that family can be anything you want if you come together. It's all about the family. We're family. Anyway, Ryuho and Kazuma, they go at each other. They have a massive fight. They have their powers and all searching for the truth behind their own backgrounds. Ryuho, what happened to his family? What happened to his, I believe it was his mother, what killed his mother? I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched it, even though it's down there on my shelf. It's been a while since I watched it. But it's a fantastic blend of sci-fi and fantasy, and the action is top-notch. The villains are villains you really want to hate, and sometimes villains that are not really villains. That kind of stuff. Little bit of subversion here and there, but it's a solid, great starter anime if you want a little bit of sci-fi and a little bit of fantasy into one. It's a lot of joy and characters you can really get behind. Kazuma, you're going to root for Kazuma because he's just your super bullheaded, over-the-top, angry at everything protagonist, always ready to fight. Ryuho is your good, solid. He's also a protagonist, but at the same time, he's Kazuma's antagonist. But I'm your straight-laced, I see everything in black and white. There's good, there's bad, and I'm trying to keep things in line. It's just, that's the kind of character you get. But then you have the expanded cast of characters in that. It's a great story. Great to get started. And again, the action is top-notch. All right, where we're going to go next. Now, you would think that when I recommend some sci-fi mecha, you think I'd go Gundam. But I'm not going to go Gundam because Gundam shows generally last 50 episodes. That's a lot for a starter anime. I'm going to recommend The Vision of Escaflowne. This is a classic. And again, actually, right now, I don't know whether to recommend the dub or the sub because they redubbed it and resubbed it a number of years ago. And I haven't reacquired it since then, so I don't know if what the latest version looks like. But if you want a great fantasy mecha anime, The Vision of Escaflowne is a wonderful, wonderful show. Hitomi Kanzaki, she lives in modern day Japan. Modern day Japan, she is a girl who is struggling to find herself. She feels like she wants things, but she doesn't have the strength, the courage to grasp it. But then, one day, as she's about to confess to the boy she's in love with, her crush, she challenges herself to beat a track time. She's a runner. And then here comes Van Fano from the parallel world of Gaia, which exists just out of phase with Earth. He is the son of a kingdom that has fallen, and he's trying to revive and save his kingdom from the evil Zybok Empire. And in doing so, he has accidentally traveled over the Earth while fighting a dragon to get a crystal in order to power the mechanized armor Escaflowne, which is ancient armor of his people meant to lead his people in defense and to victory. So Hitomi gets pulled into Gaia with Van, and they'll go on the adventure, and it's a story of love. It's a story of finding yourself. And the music, the soundtrack of Escaflowne. It is a beautiful soundtrack. I use it for inspiration and writing all the time. Again, there's a lot, what is it? Escaflowne. Escaflowne has a lot of metaphysical stuff going on. Things about angels, things about God, science versus metaphysics. It's really deep, but it's so wonderfully portrayed. And the animation's a little quirky, especially with the noses, but you get used to it after a couple of episodes because it just is such a beautiful story of wants and needs and desires and bravery and courage and what you're willing to give up in order to do the right things sometimes. So I recommend The Vision of Escaflowne. I also recommend if you're going to after you watch the 26 episodes, you go watch the movie. It's an alternate version, but it's really good, and the animation is top freaking notch. Frankly, there's some parts of it that I prefer to the actual show. It's great. So The Vision of Escaflowne, a great combination of mecha and fantasy. All right, we're rounding out here. Got two more subgenres I'm going to go to. Comedy. There's a lot of comedy anime out there. A lot of them are very big. A lot of them I have no taste for. Some people would recommend Gintama. I don't like Gintama. I tried watching it. It was something about it just set me off. And also, it's another one of those massive shows. One Piece is comedy again, but that's so massive. You want something small. You want something good to get started with. Characters you can fall in love with. Characters you can enjoy. I recommend Toradora. Toradora, the story of Ryuji, Takasu, and Taiga Isaka. Basically, young love, thinking you love somebody else, to finding out you love somebody else. Actually, it's just a great thing. I mean, you have Ryuji, who looks like he's a tough scumbag just because of his haircut and the face he inherited from his father. Everybody thinks he's a thug. They're automatically scared of him. But in fact, he's just a really nice guy who has an obsession with cleaning and enjoys cooking food. And has the hots for another girl in his class, Minori, but he can't get up the courage. He has fantasies about it. He can't get up there. But then he runs into Taiga Aisaka. They call her the Palm Top Tiger. She's 5 foot nothing, but super feisty. She's your classic tsundere character. Hates, angry at everything because she's so frustrated with her own inability to connect to her own emotions. She's in love with Ryuji's best friend. What's his name again? Yusaku. And she can't tell him her feelings. It's oh, I'm sorry. She's not 5 feet. She's 4'8". She's even smaller than 5 feet. She's 4'8". Point is, they come together. Turns out they live right next to each other. They come up with a grand scheme to help each other find love. And of course, in the end, fall in love with each other. But it's a great, heartwarming story. A lot of laugh out loud moments. A lot of crazy, emotional moments. Sometimes you might cringe a little bit, but it's just... You feel for the characters and you enjoy it. 26 episodes, a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. I'm sorry, 25 episodes. I said 26 because a couple of OAVs, but you don't need to watch those. You just need the 25. I highly recommend it. You're going to have some good laughs. It's a great starter, and it's just a whole lot of fun. And finally, we're going to round out with my choice for a romance anime, one that is really, really touching. When I watched it, it hit. It hit right here. Golden Time. Golden Time. The story of, what's his name? Shit, lost his name. Banri Tada suffers an accident which basically gives him massive amnesia. He forgets the first 18 years of his life. And he forgot that he loved another girl. But he realizes he can't hold on to that, so he needs to go to Tokyo, needs to go to school, needs to move on with his life. Meanwhile, his shadow self, the ghost of who he was, still exists in his mind and is constantly screaming at him, no, 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 you have to go back, you can't go forward. Well, while he's out there, he meets Mitsuo Yana, I can't pronounce this probably, Yanagisawa, I think that's it. She is this beautiful, outgoing girl, but she's a bit of she doesn't have her own direction in life, and she also is sort of looking for love but doesn't understand it. And they come together, and through their interaction, Banri learns that he can build a life outside of his past, and it's just the ups and downs of their relationships is great. I believe it's 24 episodes, maybe 25. But it's a lovely show, and it's heartwarming, and you're gonna get teary-eyed at some points. And the final moment at the very end, what happens there, you feel all warm inside. You do. You feel good. It really is a story about unexpected love, struggling to find your place, struggling to learn who you are when you don't even really know who you are, and physically don't know who you are. And then even if you rediscover yourself, you're okay with the new you. It's a wonderful show. If you really want to have a good sit down and have a nice warm feeling after you've watched something, watch Golden Time. Great starter. Now I'm going to end here. We're at 18 minutes. Don't want to go much longer than this. I hope you take these recommendations to heart. These are all a bunch of great shows that will give you will find your escapism in all these shows. There's no agenda in any of this. It's just a good time, and that's what we need these days, a good time. So watch these shows. If you guys like this, go ahead and recommend in the comments. If you see in the comments, go ahead and recommend more shows that you think are good starter anime, and I will comment on whether or not I agree. We can have a good discussion about this. I think I'm going to end it here. I'm done. Go watch these shows. Enjoy yourself. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, a like would be appreciated. If you're new here, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Odyssey. I'm here to give you my straightforward takes, earn your trust, earn your support as we fight to restore escapism and entertainment. Hit that notification button. I try to make a couple videos every day. If you like what I'm preaching, then spread my gospel by sharing my videos and comment away. Real comments are great. We don't have to agree on everything. We can have different opinions. SJWs, your cows behind keyboards. I don't care what you think. And if we ignore you, you have no power. Thank you again for watching. Take it easy. Thanks for watching, everybody. I don't do Facebook. I will never do Twitter. If you want to reach out to me, just email me. It's purely for this channel. I will not miss your communication. Check me out at the Geeks and Gamers forums under @ROAS. Join me in conversations there, among many others. And I'm now on Odyssey @The Renaissance Nerd. Follow me there as well. Help us keep fighting to return escapism to entertainment. Thank you again for watching. See you next time.